So in my last video, we explored the neomorph versus the xenomorph. Many people stated that the xenomorph in the video was in fact a protomorph. Well, I think one image was of the protomorph. I did actually mean to make a neomorph versus classic xenomorph video. But since there's so much interest in the protomorph from Alien Covenant, let's explore it. The protomorph is similar to a classic xenomorph, but the biggest difference is it likes to dance. Seriously, I'm not kidding. There's a scene in Alien Covenant where the chestburster protomorph puts its hands up in the air and follows David's lead. I need a moment to get serious again. Okay, the protomorph is basically a xenomorph, but most likely an earlier, less developed version, much like a prototype. Ridley Scott's mentioned that Alien Covenant would take us through the back door of the franchise and explain where the Alien and Space Jockey ship came from. He stated that he wanted to explain who created the classic Xeno and why. As you know, the iconic Xenomorph from Alien had a very distinct appearance. It was tall, very biomechanical, and moved slowly and menacingly, yet in an elegant manner. It possessed 4 dorsal tubes which extruded from its back, as well as a spinal protrusion beneath the elongated head. The Xeno that appears in Covenant differs to this classic design. Right away, many noticed how smooth and organic this alien looks. It lacks the biomechanical aesthetic and rigid design the Xenomorph is typically known for. Although it looks to have somewhat of an exoskeleton, overall, this alien has a very different outwards appearance. The limbs, fingers, and ribcage appear to be covered by smooth skin. Now, considering these aliens shed exoskeleton layers much like insects, the protomorph may have just shed its cocoon, and this could be the reason why it's still soft, while the new exoskeleton has time to harden. However, there are other major differences which shoot down this theory. The collarbone on the classic Xeno is much larger. Also, the classic Xeno features biomechanical detailing on the biceps and other areas, such as the dorsal tubes. The hands appear to be missing the webbing between the digits on the protomorph. It's hard to imagine that the protomorph would eventually grow these features. It's most likely a different species to the classic Xenomorph. The face and cranium of the protomorph also lack the biomechanical detailing of its Xenomorph cousin. The skull appears to be opaque and not transparent like the big chap design, where you can see the skull through the dome. The teeth appear to be more human and less silvery. Also, the upper spine protrusion that's very prominent on the Xenomorph design seems to be missing. The blade on the tail of the protomorph seems to be much smaller than the blade on the classic Xenomorph's tail, but this could be due to the protomorph's young age. Finally, the behavior of the protomorph is completely different to that of the Xenomorphs. The Xenomorph is ominous and relatively slow by comparison. It stalks its prey, toys with it, before brutally killing it. This protomorph is more animalistic, much like the neomorph. We know that David experimented on Shaw to create the Xenomorph eggs. Well, experimented would be an understatement. Anyway, we know that this is probably David's first attempt at creating the classic Xenomorph, so it makes sense that he hasn't nailed the final design quite yet, which is something we'll most likely see in Alien Awakening. The protomorph appears to have the exact same life cycle as the classic Xenomorph, one difference being Shaw was the queen alien. The protomorph egg looks a little different to the classic Xenomorph eggs. They seem to have a much larger opening and appear to be larger in size. Also, the facehuggers appear to have a similar design to the classic ones, but again seem to be smoother and lacking detail compared to the ones featured in earlier Alien movies. Some fans have pointed out that David cannot be the creator of the Xenomorph, as we already saw a Xenomorph mural in Prometheus, suggesting that the engineers have created these creatures previously. But this could be just the basic template design, as we witnessed with the Neomorph and the Deacon. David could still be the creator of the classic biomechanical Xeno we all know and love today. But like I mentioned before, I really hope this isn't true. It just ruins the mystery of the franchise. So anyway, what do you think? Is the Protomorph a precursor to the Xenomorph or a completely different species? Please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Make sure you click the bell icon to turn on notifications. Also, please check out my other videos. I'll see you later.